What did you think? What did you all think about last night's debate, huh? It's looking pretty good for America. What you think? Man, that was depressing. That was absolutely depressing. This is spiritual degeneration. We are experiencing how a civilization declines. It's all over. That debate was the perfect example of the decline of a civilization. The level of the topics, the emotional conduct, the truth of where we are as a nation. We are in decline. We are in decline. And what that election really represented were two old, let's just face it, white men from the declining aspect of our civilization. They both represent, both of them do, represent the decline of America. The decline of America. Obviously a guy like me, I'm not political. I am an enlightenment practitioner. I'm practicing the no hands path. So for me, the idea, the notion that the left hand knows better than the right hand, that's absurd. That the right hand is superior to the left hand. That you could live with just the right hand. That only the left could be correct. That is crazy, man. That for a person like me, I just laugh at the notion of that. And you should too. Because what they're really doing is they're seesawing back and forth from the left to the right to try to give you some semblance of balance. But the critical point is to see where our civilization, Western civilization, is in decline. Like that election represents that. The issues that we're dealing with socially are the issues of a nation in decline. I mean, on one hand, we have a candidate from the right. This guy wants to make America great again. I don't know if you all know this, but in order for the whole world to live the greatness of America, the earth has to be 27 times as big as it is. I repeat that. If we make America great again, right? For the entire world to experience the greatness that is America, the earth has to be 27 times the size that it is, with the current levels of technology that we utilize to exist under. That's the guy from the right. The guy from the left, they're proposing this bizarre reality that I don't even understand, where it seems as though there's no sex, there's no race, you're not a man, you're not a woman, it's all happy-go-lucky, let's just all fit in this pot of just togetherness where there's nothing. Where like tiny little minorities have huge says on reality. Like change is happening so fast, you're expected to mold to different ways of living that make your way of living completely obsolete. And if you don't accept them, you're canceled, you're out. Right? That's progress on this side. And let's just face it, it's some kind of communist dystopian reality. And I mean, it's been tried before. It doesn't work. Go back and read the book Animal Farm. It does not work. The pigs will end up running the show. The pigs will end up running the show. So, I'm going to stay in the same lane I've stayed at with all this time. The reason you all think that I'm crazy, that I'm unbalanced, but you're going to learn that I'm not. The only way out of our situation, drum roll please, are the suppressed technologies related to the UFO phenomenon and the spiritual truths connected to that about the true nature of humanity. There's a spiritual element related to the suppressed UFO technologies. It's not about UFOs. It's about how the UFOs are moving and traveling. And trust me, they're not using the right-hand path and they're not using the left-hand path. They're on the no-hands path. That technology is moving outside of relativity. And that's the only way that our country can stop its decline and that we can move beyond this precipice that not just America but that the world is stuck on. Because these dudes, neither one of them are talking about releasing these technologies and really taking us someplace that's sustainable. You got a guy trying to go back to a past that's already destroyed the world pretty much. You know, you can make America great, but then the rest of the world will suffer. And then, I mean, once again, I said with these technologies that we're using, oil, gas, the petrol dollar as its base, it's just not going to work. It's impossible. And then the other alternative, there's not going to be any you. There's not going to be any me. You're going to just be dissolved into this AI collective that you might feel blissful, but you're not even going to exist, man. It's just going to be this collective soup. So that's what I saw on the election from my perspective. Obviously, it's very different than what most people see. But I want you to think about what I said. Like, how can the right hand be more correct than the left hand? How can the left be more correct than the right? Like, there has to be a point when we move beyond these kind of like a more primitive way of controlling a society to maybe a real level where we can get candidates that represent a more complete reality. And I don't think it's going to be like 80-year-old dudes from the World War II era. There have to be some fresh faces and voices involved. And remember this, those suppressed technologies that you always hear me talk about, they're related to that World War II era. These guys are the last of that guard, of that age group that is, you know, attempting to control types of information that cause them to lose power, okay? Cause them to lose power, man. So, there we go. Trump and Biden, man. And I want to end it with this, though. We have to be very careful. Don't lie to yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, both one side has presented the other side as corrupt to the truth of the other side. And what I mean by that is, if you go to the Republican news sources, they present facts and evidence about Biden where, trust me, those Republican far right, they believe Biden is a corrupt criminal who can't be trusted. And the left has presented the same facts and evidence about Trump. If you watch CNN and you believe it, you're going to feel the same way. So you have a perfect setup wherein, how do you win? How does our country achieve any measure of peace and stability with what we have going on here? This is a very critical time. And I would suggest to all of us to remain grounded and calm and try not to react emotionally to events and phenomena that we're going to see between now and the election, because the tinderbox has been set in place, and the wrong spark. I mean, we've lived peaceful lives. Like us, Generation X and beneath us, we don't know the horrors that exist out there in the world. But I mean, like, it can go bad for people, like epically bad, and the emotional divisions have been set in place in America for that to happen. All we would need is for some element to tip our economy or our social connections beyond a certain point, and it would be something the likes of which this planet has never seen. Do you want to live through that? Because I don't want to live through that, you know. I'm built to live through stuff like that. Are you? So like we have to stay grounded about the truth of the divisions that are in place, and the fact that I don't believe that either of these men are really presenting an option to move forward. And I will say this, without America, I mean, what's going to really happen to the world? America's not perfect. It's far from perfect. But if you travel the world, what more conglomerated nation is there to represent the world? I mean, the Chinese? Look at the Chinese government. Is there a single person in their government who's not Chinese? I mean, I don't know. But it doesn't represent the mixed nation that America does. And in my opinion, that's important to be the leader of the world. Like, it needs to be a country that has accepted the mantle of the world coming together. So we need to find a way to heal our nation and restart our nation. We have to be reborn. We need a renaissance. We need a rebirth here in America. Like we can't. It's not going to happen from trying to rebuild what was lost. We have to find a new way as Americans. So, all right, that's all I got for you today. I hope it benefited you in some way. I'm not out here just to be critical and make you feel bad, but that's the deal. And then I'll put some links in the description to things like the UFO information and other stuff like that, so maybe you can catch up on that. But thanks for watching. Peace.